of what it is like in form and substance, in structure. Form, substance, and structure. I have Serene. Serene, did you want to add to that?
Yeah. So we can also see discriminations, how discrimination is translated into structures when it comes to technology as well. I mean, there's no way we can claim technology is neutral. It was never designed to be neutral. Like, for instance, the design of Facebook, Twitter, social medias, right? They're all premises on the ideas of freedom of expression, but we also have to look at who has more powers when it comes to making certain expressions. And when as social media gets more and more popular, we see more and more cases of gender-based violence online happening. You have all these misogynies, trolls attacking, trolling women, saying all sort of things, and women's body shames. Any work attempts to push for gender equalities or LGBTQ rights are being attacked, and all these are done under the pretense of freedom of expression. Right, and that's what Facebook and Twitter are for. And I think right now these platforms has realized that they can no longer go on with the current model. So hence, the efforts to change this, but because it's so embedded in their structures already. So to change it, I think we are at a point where nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows how to solve these issues with all these hate attacks against women. And then the other aspect is also to look at the issues of privacy, right? Because Twitter's, Facebook's are again designed to help you to get more visibilities, to help you to get louder, basically. And privacy was never an issue, because for cisgender men, they don't understand privacy. They don't value the importance of privacy. But for example, if you're a lesbian woman and your sexuality is not something that you want to talk about, you can't express your love for some other woman publicly on social medias. That's when privacy becomes something valuable to you, which is definitely not what Facebook and Twitter are designed for. And that's just very two examples of discrimination. Yeah.
So I think just to build on that, so when we talk about structural violence and discrimination, it looks at design and just the root word structure, right? So this can be like institutions, it can be laws, it can be policies, it can be routines, it can be technology, and it can be anything. It can be even processes that that we build collectively, right? That sometimes structures that sort of create hierarchies and sort of segregate people based on labels or identities or whatever, then end up embedding discrimination within these structures. Yeah, that's about it.
Go ahead.
So if I just add to that, there's a I think his name was Gao Dong. He's a peace study.
Yuan Gao Zhou.
Yeah, so he came up with this idea that violence is not incidental. It's not just an event, it's a process. And he looked at violence in three aspects. One is structural, and then the other one is cultural, and then the last one is personal, I think. So all this are interconnected. They all enable one another. So yeah, that to me has been really helpful.
So this is after that I'm going to go to Isha because she had her hand up.
Sorry. So I think that's why we see intersectionality again, right? So the interconnection between all these different power structures or different types of discrimination or violence or whatever. So that also really embodies the idea of intersectionality. Sorry, Isha.
Isha, go for it.
Because I was just add on from that, because when we say the structures discrimination, it's actually add on from many of the norm, and actually the norm is actually come from the traditional, that we so-called the traditional, or some we call the religions. But we all know traditional is actually, they did have some very discriminated what we say, the cultural aspect, aspect in there. So like for me, I'm a Chinese, and I'm Chinese lesbian woman. So it comes to things, it's quite like I will be forced to, I have to go to marriage. But I think all Asian family, they will have the same issue. So my mom would say, you have to go to marriage. I said, and after I come out to my mom will like, okay, so can you go and adopt a children or get a children? I'm like, why? So basically what they think is like you should go to reproduce, get the next generation, stuff like that. So this mindset is actually quite come into this, and then it's formed the what we call the structures and the law and everything
That's built around
the
it.
view around about that. Like when we say married in Mandarin, yeah, I do have this. Can you see? Ni tak ada papan putih.
So prepared, I love it.
This we call in Mandarin is 娶. 娶 means married, and it must be a man married a woman. Only I can say 娶. So if like a woman married a man, it have to use another one. So 娶, what does this mean? 娶 is actually, if you look at to the Chinese character, it's actually women who been kena apa kata? Lelaki ambil senjata, pergi tangkap perempuan, and then tarik balik rumah, and then kahwin. Itu kahwin. Yeah, kidnap.
Forced marriage.
It's actually a forced marriage, but turn out they didn't change everything, and then comes into now we're still using this. And it's disgusting.
Oh my God, that's such a violent.
Yeah, but it's interestingly is when it's come to the LGBT scenes, like okay, so like me and Tilaka want to get married. So
Yes,
can I use this? Can I use this? Can I use this? Apparently I'm not man. Are you man?
Why not?
So like based on the IC lah.
No, based on
on
like
the IC or whatever.
Not based
okay.
on how they self-identify.
Non-binary.
So like, can I use this? Can I use this? Or two men want to marry? Can we use this?
Cannot.
So it's interestingly, but people is adopting. They feel like so like I'm the dominant one. So I'm like I choose you. It will become in that way. So it's sometimes that we feel like, people will say, people will say like, it's not a big deal by using, benda-benda macam ini kan. But if you really look into it, the root of the words, the root of the culture is actually very problematic. But people is actually not aware about that.
So you're recreating and perpetuating the structural or even the embedded discrimination that is inherent in a particular, even in something as simple as like a word.
Yeah.
Culture.
I think I just want to like sort of jump into this one. I think at the heart of it, of this conversation, is also power, right?
Yes.
Because like, and a lot of things, whether be it language, be it norms, be it whatever, identities and all of that, it all carries like power. And I think that's what feminism at the heart of feminist our philosophy is also like, analysis of power. So I think it's very interesting to see like how language, and we see this, how gendered language especially, sort of, disseminate and like amplify certain forms of like exclusion, certain forms of like rejection and things like that. So like for example, for the longest time, we used to like, we were all like taught to use like chairman. And now we use chairperson, right? But like still,
But we still use.
yeah, still like in some places.
Or even husband, wife, as opposed to partners.
Yeah. And when we change the language, it also then changes the way that the kind of culture that we are creating and looking at, right? And the same thing, like even in environmental issues, right? Like where we talk, like look at all this plastic here and then talk about environmental issues. But let's do it. In the spirit of in the spirit of bringing down the climate, right? But I guess what burn. Kita semua naik Grab tadi. So anyway, what was I gonna say about environmental needs? But the kind of language that we use, right? In terms of, and I can understand this, but at the same time, I'm also critical of this. The way in which we use virgin rainforest. What does that mean? So I think even the way that we use language definitely has it's very interesting because it carries a lot of power, and it can also have the effect of like excluding people and like rejecting people, and it can also like be part of like building whatever norms. Yes, sorry, culture.
I'm just reminded by Poison Letter by Believe Me Online.
The Vietnam case.
We use a poison letter to describe that
Okay.
that emails. Yeah.
Can you
So that's
expand on that a little bit? I mean, for some people who don't know what on earth you're talking about, can you give us a little bit more context?
So I think it was last week. There was I think people were circulating supposed to be an email, content of an email, alleging that there are sexual harassments within BFMs and there were no proper investigations and several individuals were named. So it seems like the emails was intended for medias only, but for some reason it was leaked and the public has access to it. So Millennia reported about this, and the writers actually categorized that content as poison letter.
Poison pen letter.
Poison pen letter, yeah.
What does that say? What happens when newspapers perpetuate using that language? What are the implications?
It's can someone like
Jump in?
anyone do?
Sorry, because regarding the letter, for the facts, there was still an argument whether it was leaked or whether it was sent out by
Yeah.
person concerned, right?
Yeah.
So if the person had sent out, it was consented to and all that. So if a person sent out complaining, so you're a survivor,
Yeah.
then why would the letter be classified as poison pen? Right?
Mm.
That means you are not believing the victim, so
Yeah.
it's victim blaming.
So there's
Yeah.
already the language reflects
Yeah.
prejudice
Yeah.
and a certain positioning of the sender, the content of the letter, and immediately makes other people, the readers, assume, oh, ni mesti ada niat tak baik ni. There's something malicious behind the anonymity of the letter, etc. You know, because poison pen always conveys negative, right?
And that's a form of discrimination faced by survivors.
Betul.
Disbelief.
Betul. Kak Dina?
Macam Chong-san tadi ada cakap berkenaan diskriminasi terhadap golongan wanita lesbian. Sebenarnya dalam golongan transgender woman juga kita ada golongan lesbian. So maknanya mereka memang seorang maknya, seorang transgender, tapi mereka menyukai maknya dan menyukai perempuan dan dia suka kepada feminin, sifat feminin seseorang ni lah. So dalam kalangan kami transgender woman pun bila seseorang transgender lesbian yang suka, kita pun macam pandang sesuatu yang sangat ganjil. Tapi bila perkara ini kita dah belajar mengenai SOGI, iaitu seksual orientasi, gender expression dan gender identity, barulah kita boleh start menerima mereka. So sebab itulah I rasa untuk perkara untuk mengurangkan diskriminasi di antara lesbian dengan yang heteroseksual. So satu caranya ialah kita kena SOGI ni kita kena terap dekat mana-mana, terutamanya dengan NGO-NGO yang berkenaan dengan human right. So mereka akan mempelajari tentang gender identity dan juga gender expression seseorang.
Kak Dina, actually you're raising a really good point because it takes us to this idea of internalized discrimination. Like even within the dalam community transport, maknya pun ada macam perasaan tak suka kan atau pandang rendah ataupun jijik. Tu dia jijik.
Geli macam mana?
Jijik tu
Macam
macam
mana? Bayangkan seorang perempuan dengan perempuan, ni kenapa dia buat macam tu? Sama lah. Maknya kan dia, bila maknya kita heteroseksual, kita suka lelaki. Bila tiba-tiba ada pula yang maknya suka perempuan. Kita pun, kenapa ni? Macam melanggar susila. Padahal kita faham tak? So benda tu terbalik lagi. So dia perkara ni memang memeningkan kepala.
So, apa yang Kak Dina timbulkan tu satu perkara yang sangat menarik sebab kita nampak benda yang sama dekat dalam banyak-banyak community kan, especially dalam community yang marginalized dan yang sebenarnya dah ada berlaku mereka dipinggirkan atau terpinggir, bukan in whatever ways lah, right? So macam for example yang kita nampak ni policing dalam satu-satu kumpulan community kan. So yang ini sama je dalam sebab saya obviously assigned female at birth and like assigned Indian at birth, assigned Hindu at birth, So sekarang saya bukanlah semua benda-benda tu.
I'm not anything sign off.
Saya like
I reject segala benda.
so saya rasa like dalam saya bila like dalam community India, saya rasa like berlakunya banyak policing kan, like macam bila saya dulu naik taxi ke apa benda, bila saya keluar malam, so especially kalau the taxi driver is an Indian man, dia mesti akan tanya like, bapa kau, who's your father? Dia, where you from? Dari mana? And then lepas tu dia akan tanya like, who's your father? And aku macam like, okay, so it's not like all Indian people are connected, okay? Like, so I'm like, how are you gonna know my dad? Like, then sometimes sebab ayah saya dah meninggal lah. I mean like, so then sometimes I think like, so where are you gonna go find? Which grave are you gonna go find? So I'm just, so it also shows the kind of authority lah kan. How people feel like, sebab saya seorang sebab saya seorang yang assigned female at birth and keluar malam, so dia rasa ada sedikit authority untuk tanya like, kenapa kamu macam ni? Nanti saya bagi tahu bapak kamu, nanti dia boleh settlekan isu ni, right?
Yeah.
So I think like this kind of policing kita nampak dalam banyak-banyak community yang marginalized kan, sebab nak menunjukkan satu image yang sebenarnya kita nak assimilate dan kita baik, kita tak nak keluar daripada kepompom baik ni, right? So sama juga macam dengan trans women, like saya rasa dalam penyelidikan yang ni memang dah ramai orang menyelidik lah, like Iowa, Ong and all of that. Kita pun nampak benda yang sama, right? Where ada policing dekat dalam untuk nampak kita, sebab kalau seorang maknya tu lesbian, then dia timbulkan banyak-banyak persoalan, nanti orang cerita apa benda lah, inilah itulah. So tak nak ni kan. So everybody kena jadi baik and nice. Kena fit dalam kepompong heterosexual, cisgender, yang diterima pakai oleh like masyarakat, norma masyarakat, right? So itu point saya dan saya akan berakhir.
Sekejap, ada Giselle, lepas tu Yishan. Giselle dulu, lepas tu Yishan.
Kita dulu Gitu.
Okay.
Membawang dia kena orang membawang tu. Pembentukan sosial juga bukan hanya berlaku pada cisgender macam kita tahu sebab even dalam LGBT community pun dia ada pembentukan sosial dia sendiri. Sedangkan dia di kalangan cisgender woman ataupun cisgender men pun diorang ada stigma. Contohnya cisgender woman ni, kalau kau tak beranak, kau tak boleh mengandung, so bukan perempuan. Even dalam kelompok cisgender sendiri pun dia ada dia punya diskriminasi. Begitu juga dengan community transgender. Contohnya dalam beberapa tahun yang dulu atau berpuluh-puluh tahun dulu, maknya telah ditetapkan oleh orang-orang yang lama bahawa maknya ni kena macam rambut panjang, pandai memasak, which I tak tahu. So kalau itu adalah satu pembentukan sosial yang wajib transwoman semua ada, so saya tidak layak lah kalau sepatutnya ada
Sebab ada masak.
Ibu perempuan pun orang kata kena pandai memasak. So kalau perempuan tak pandai memasak macam mana? Adakah tidak layak dibilang sebagai perempuan? So itulah even di kalangan transwoman sendiri pun dia ada dia punya label ataupun macam mana you kena macam ni, you tak boleh lari daripada sini, bila you lari you bukan kategori ini. So saya ingat balik pada 2 minggu lepas bila saya dengan Dina pergi satu program dalam 2 jam kita pergi untuk sign language, bahasa isyarat. So saya terfikir, bayangkan kalau dia adalah seorang transwoman dan dia juga tidak boleh bercakap dan peka. So bayangkan saya tidak mustahil kami transwoman yang boleh bercakap akan mendiskriminasi mereka sebab dia punya cara ataupun kekangan itu telah kita tidak boleh berkomunikasi dengan mereka sebab
dia nak membawa.
That's problem. So kita juga tahu beberapa transwoman dekat Malaysia ada yang memang tidak boleh bercakap. So bila kami buat event atau gathering ataupun tu, mereka tak boleh nak engage.
Tak ada untuk sign language mereka.
That's problem.
Jadi komunikasi tu memang ada.
So lagi
penyampaian
then,
info tu
ya,
susah.
dan stigma tu lagi tinggi kepada mereka, you know. See, nampak diri kita sendiri pun stigma kepada orang yang itu. So ya.
Isha?
Saya cuma nak add dari apa yang just now tadi Silakan cakap about the policing and also because like what Srin say about the technology and social media part, and actually we can see a lot of policing in the social media. I'm speaking and what our observation in the Mandarin speaking community. So when we know there is a key opinion leader, mostly is in male and probably in their middle age. So where there we have young women, for example like me, young women who speaking some, giving up some comment which is not that mainstream. So people will come and attacking me and saying like, amoy balik rumah lah, amoy balik rumah jaga anak ke, balik rumah masak lah, balik rumah cuci lah. Aku kata dah masak dah cuci dah, sekarang saya tak boleh komen ke. So things like that, people will start policing you like. They're using this kind of wording. It just want to tell you that you are a woman, you are not qualified to say, to give out any opinion on the social media. You know, same thing go to like when before the elections, Mariam Lee is she's about the advocate for the Undi Rosa.
Yeah.
And there are like many hundreds of the comments and putting all her pictures on the a pig body or a sexy body, all sort of this kind of thing. But we also have others, male, key opinion leader who giving out also Undi Rosa, like advocacy about the Undi Rosa also.
Betul.
But nothing happened to them, People is not putting them into a babi punya badan ke, or something like that,
Also, I mean, and that's the gendered aspect of it too, right? Which is like the violence of it.
Yeah.
So when men make comments, mungkin kena maki hamon sikit gitulah. Kan, gitu je lah cukup-cukup ah. But with women, there's always the aspect of violence, in particular rape threats and like stalking,
everything,
body shaming,
Yeah.
and the attacks become extremely personal, kan?
Including families member.
So in some point, sometimes the woman even internalize the things like after they leave a comment, they will say, it just, in Mandarin will say it's just a 妇人之言. 妇人之言 means it's just perempuan punya comment lah. It's like a housewife comment, So when you say, after you comment a long post and then you just say, this is just a housewife comment, means, please do not take these comments seriously. It's just a housewife, macam kita tengah membawang. We are not like commenting seriously.
Oh my God.
So it's something so like, I do have friends like that. Then aku marah-marah dia.
But then there you see how it's actually, we are all perpetuating it there in that case, like how you said. So I think then we have to look at what is our role in kind of also educating the others and not perpetuating it in our own circle of influence, in our own families, in our society. And I think to also let that ripple effect go forward in terms of, we don't want to continue this kind of shaming or in this kind of discrimination, right? So amongst ourselves, so there's a role for us, there's a role of the state also, isn't it? And right now I think there is this gender equality bill that is coming up as well. So they want to also have more women so that, the groups come in and there's more representation of women in politics, women in leadership and other areas. Also, there is one issue on the nationality, which is gender bias, and so women cannot pass on their nationality, citizenship to their children who are born overseas. It's not on the same basis as men. Why is that in today's day?